Hi everyone, Paul Akers with the American Innovator. You know, every 30 days a significant opportunity passes in front of every human being. The question is, are you awake? Well, when I had the opportunity to go on a trip to Israel with Dr. John Hutchinson and Dr. Ken Way from Talbot Theological Seminary, I couldn't pass up the opportunity. Well, I got to go along on this trip with Granada Heights Friends Church, and it was, well, off the charts. We had the time of our life for about 12 days as we traveled throughout the Holy Lands, charting the life of Christ and then ending up in Jerusalem. And I hope you enjoy this video as much as I enjoyed putting it together to kind of give you a taste of what Israel is all about and what the people of this amazing country have done, taking a desert and turning it into the Garden of Eden. You know, my only regret as I look back on this trip is, why did I wait till I was 52 years old to go on this trip? You know, I think everybody should experience Israel as soon as possible. It's an amazing country with amazing people, with such tenacity to persevere. And then, above all else, it's the place of the Bible. And the story, the culture, the history is so rich and so deep. And there is so much to explore. I would encourage everyone, if there even is a question in your mind on going to Israel, don't wait. Go as soon as you can, because you will never believe what you'll see and experience. There are so many places that I wanted to visit when I went to Israel, but above all else, I think, was Masada. Masada is an amazing story of the Jewish people just never giving up. When the Romans went to lay siege to Masada and built a ramp up the backside, they did not give in. And at the very end, they took their own life rather than relinquish their freedom to the Romans. This is really the story of the Jewish people. I learned a very important story when I was in Masada, that when a pilot in the Israeli Defense Forces gets his wings, he flies over the Masada and he tips his wings to signal they will never surrender. And this is really a powerful story of the tenacity of the Jewish people. I had another great thing happen to me when I was there. I met a rabbi, and this is him right here. He was writing the Torah, and he gave me an incredible blessing. May our people be your people. And I'll never forget this experience. Next stop, En-Gedi. What a place in the middle of the most harsh climate, 110 degrees out, one of the lowest places on earth. And here, water abundantly coming forth from the canyons. And to even make it better, this is where David spent time. And to think that we were bathing and swimming in the same waters that David spent time in, well, that's pretty special. And then Qumran, the Dead Sea Scrolls. Just think, a shepherd found in a cave scrolls that were over 2,000 years old. And then next we were on to Jerusalem. And this was so much, again, the highlight of our trip, entering the holy city. And here I am walking into the Wailing Wall and just experiencing with the Jewish people how their heartfelt desire to rebuild the temple. And this is the closest they get to the temple, is when they put their prayers into the walls. And I got to experience that, made a prayer, and then stuffed it into the cracks. And as we entered into the Western Wall, Tally had a great display here where she demonstrated how Herod built the temple and the different phases of the Temple Mount. And look at the size of these stones. These are thousands and thousands of pounds, 50 foot long. And as Tally said, you think we're technologically advanced? Look what they did thousands of years ago. Then we went to the Children's Holocaust Museum. 1.5 million children lost their life. Think about it, 6 million Jewish people lost their life in the Holocaust. There are not even 6 million Jewish people in the country of Israel, and yet these people with such tenacity came back and rebuilt their country.
I can't fight.
You know, when I was in the Israeli Museum, Chum and I were always messing around, he being Armenian and me being Greek. But here I came across this film crew using this huge apparatus with 4 people, and I did all the filming for this video with the iPole and my iPhone 4S. Amazing the contrast between having a lot and having very little and getting a lot from it. And then Ken starts our day off by telling us the story of Jesus being born in Bethlehem as we overlook the city. And then the Eilat Valley where David and Goliath face off. I actually picked up some stones out of probably the same riverbed that David got his stones from and reenacted the whole experience. East. This is the gateway to Jerusalem. This is just west of Jerusalem, and this is where Hezekiah faced off against the Assyrians. I ran into a grocery store real quick at lunch one day to buy, of all things, a squirt gun. Because hey, it's always great to have a little fun. So that is the internment Quonset right there. And these are the escapees right here. Tally loves the animals, and she always brought food with her to feed them. Beth Shemesh, the home of Samson.
Scholarly estimation was canoodling with the Bible.
You guys agree with that? Is that okay? And then beautiful Jerusalem at night. I caught this couple taking pictures of each other. They both had their own cameras, and they were looking longingly into each other's eyes taking pictures, and I captured it all on video, and they were cracking up.
Canoodling.
And then on to the city of David. Most people don't know, but the city of David is actually the original Jerusalem, and it's actually outside the walls of Jerusalem. And then we went into Hezekiah's tunnel that Hezekiah built to secure the water supply when the Assyrians were coming against Jerusalem. You know, when I was in Israel, I had dinner with a businessman named Jacob, and I asked him, why are the Israeli people so special? What is it that allows you to succeed? And he says, in order to be Israeli, you must be brave, you must be smart, and you must have passion. And then as we came out of Hezekiah's tunnel, we entered to the pool of Siloam, where Jesus put spit and dirt together on the blind man's eyes and told him to go wash it off. And when the people in the temple area were questioning if the blind man was really blind, he said, all I know is once I was blind and now I see. And then when we were at the southwest corner of the Temple Mount, a bar mitzvah was going on, and we captured it on video. Here we are on the southern steps. These are the actual steps that Christ could have walked on when he was in Jerusalem. And then on our last day, we ended up on the Mount of Olives, charting the last days of Christ as we walked through the Garden of Gethsemane. And then we concluded our day by walking up the Via Dolorosa and the Stations of the Cross, and ending up at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where Christ was crucified on Golgotha and then buried in the tomb. And this is the house of Caiaphas, where Peter denied knowing Christ 3 times. And down below is the actual cell where Christ was held and flogged. And then we had our farewell dinner on our very last night before we headed to the airport. And all I can say is, Israel, I'm coming back. This is an amazing country with some very unusual people. And I have fallen in love with this wonderful place and the people who live there.
We're at a high Friends Church, you're crazy.
What would we do without our amazing guide, Tally, and our awesome bus driver, Yossi?